Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Money Tip Podcast, presented by Fully Funded Life. My name is Joseph Sangle, and we are here to help you, yes, you, live a fully funded life. We are fired up to help you with practical, right now relevant information that can help you in your money journey. And today, we're bringing you episode number
228.
Episode number 228. 228 times, 228 Mondays that we have come to you with some helpful information to help you win with your money. It is November 14th. We hope that you're having a wonderful mid-November. Some of you have seen snow fall a few times already. Here in South Carolina, the last leaves are starting to turn, the oak leaves. We've lost the maples, they're gone. But here's what we're gonna do today. We're going to talk about a fun topic that is related to our kids and money.
Yes.
So tell everybody what we're gonna talk about. That is the voice of my co-host, Megan Hibbard. First, how are you doing?
I'm good.
You're fired up?
Doing good.
You have kiddos.
Monday. I do.
So we're gonna talk about really your kiddos and everyone else's kiddos and my kiddos.
Yep. All right. So our topic is, should kids have credit cards? What do you think?
There you go. Yeah. Should kids have credit cards? Thank you for this wonderful question.
You're welcome.
It's wonderful. Before we dive into that one, that Dave Ramsey would say, that's a hard no, right? Ours is not a hard no, but Dave ain't wrong. Like my English? My English teacher is so proud of me. But we're going to dive into that time. You know what time of the podcast it is. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
The Money Tip Podcast is sponsored by the Fully Funded Life Membership Program. The Fully Funded Life Membership Program provides all you need to begin winning with money and live a fully funded life. Fully Funded Life includes 4 key components: courses, challenges, coaching, and community. Courses provide financial education. Challenges help you make massive progress in a specific money skill. Coaching is provided by the Fully Funded Life Certified Coaches through open office hours held multiple times each month. All of the courses, challenges, and coaching results in an outstanding community that help equip, motivate, and encourage you to take your next financial steps toward your fully funded life. Fully Funded Life, courses, challenges, coaching, community. All that's missing is you. Learn more and receive a special offer for Monday Money Tip listeners today at fullyfunded.life/MMT. That's www.fullyfunded.life/MMT. All right, for today's current money events section, we're talking about student loan forgiveness. Forgiveness. Remember that?
I do.
Forgiveness. Who sings that? Even if.
I know the song, but
You don't love me anymore. Don Henley, the drummer for the Eagles, nailed it. Anyhow, I lead the worship service at the 3 a.m. service. It's amazing. But we're going to talk about student loan forgiveness. Now, while I have feelings related to whether or not the President of the United States should have done student loan forgiveness, we're not going to talk about that here. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about, should you accept said forgiveness? And they recently opened up the application for student loan forgiveness. And so if you are eligible, we're going to provide a link that the government has provided for you to apply for student loan forgiveness. If you are eligible for it, you should take it. So don't stand on your principles and not accept your 10K or 20K, right? So if you are not a fan of the president issuing student loan forgiveness, don't do that, to spite yourself, right? Out of spite. Go apply, get the student loan forgiveness. And so you may think that you're not eligible. I would tell you, apply anyway. You may be eligible. Make sure you fill out the form, okay? So there's a limited period of time in which you can apply for the student loan forgiveness. So we want to make sure that everybody who's listening to this podcast, and there's a lot of them who have student loans that are eligible, that you apply for your student loan forgiveness. If you're watching this on YouTube, we would love to hear, have you already applied? Have you gotten a response? Have you gotten forgiveness yet? We would love to hear from you. That's awesome. But we just like to bring right now relevant stuff, and student loan forgiveness is really important. Do you know any friends who are going to benefit from it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of people are applying for it. I mean, free money to help you, you know, with a big debt that could help you advance up the ladder.
Yeah.
So
$10K.
yeah.
That's a lot.
A lot of
I mean, if you owe $100K and now you owe $90, you know, it doesn't seem like a lot until you realize it's $10K. So it's still a lot.
Yeah.
And so we just encourage you in this current money forgiveness episode, even if you don't like that they did it, you should get it. Yeah. So fill it out. You know, I find that most of the people who have student loans seem to like that they're getting some student loan forgiveness.
I'm sure.
So, you know, go get your student loan forgiveness for this current money events forgiveness edition. Did I nail it?
Nailed it.
Yeah. We should have a Joe Sangle sings episode. Like, I should sing the whole episode. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay tuned for that. All right, our success story today comes from Jayme. And Jayme said, just wanted to email you that we have paid off our house.
Woo!
7 years, LOL, but my wife and I did it. Also, by the way, the cars are paid off too. Loving the freedom. Thanks for all you've done over the years and for the encouragement to get started when it seemed impossible.
I think it's funny. Jayme said, we paid off our house, took 7 years, LOL. Like, what does the LOL mean?
Laugh out loud.
I understand that, but like, why are they laughing?
7 years is not a long time
it
at
seems
all.
like they're mocking themselves that it took so long. Or they say it took only 7 years. Ha 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 ha. In my head, it's like it took 7 years. Ha ha ha. Or it only took 7 years. You know, I don't know if it's or ha ha ha. But anyhow, 7 years is awesome.
7 years is
right.
awesome.
So congratulations, Jayme. And you paid your cars off too in the midst of that. And you're loving that freedom. And then you said nice words to us, which is really nice. And this podcast is powered by your success. Many people would ask, how did they do that? Well, you know how they did that? They got focused. They got serious. They got energized. They saw a vision of what life could be. And 7 years went by like that. And now look where they get to live. Because God willing, the creek didn't rise too high. They made progress. They stopped making dumb decisions with money. And here they are living a fully funded life. Isn't that awesome?
It is awesome.
Is the podcast powered up or what now? It is powered by your success. We are fully fueled up. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about, should kids have credit cards? So should your kids have credit cards?
Okay. So
other people have
this is a great question. Should kids have credit cards? That's an excellent question. So Logan is how old?
3.
He's 3. He's 3. One day he'll be 30. Does that make you sad?
It does.
Yeah. But right now he's 3.
Yep.
And he's 3. Should he have a credit card? Does he have a lot of self-discipline, personal discipline right now?
No.
No? So if you tell him, hey, I need you to sit right there for an hour and not move, do you think he could do it?
No.
It's impossible. Like, he's a good boy. He wants to make mom and dad happy, but I'm really confident he couldn't sit there for very long.
Yeah, no.
Before.
He's got way too much energy.
Is it Barkley? Is your puppy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Barkley's going to cruise by, and the enticement's too much. I got to go see Barkley, right? And then, I saw a neighbor drive by. I know whose car that is.
Yep.
So my friend's home. Can we go?
Yep.
Right? And I'm hungry. I need a snack. And Mom, you're spending too much time with my brothers. Mm-hmm. I need some attention over here. Remember me. Okay. So if he had open access to a credit card and Amazon, would he click buy now?
Yes.
What would he buy? What would be the things you think would show up on your credit card?
Toys.
Toys? What's his Bluey toys?
He likes Bluey, but he's not really he'll watch it, but it's not his favorite.
Yeah.
He loves anything tractor, anything
Sweet.
fire truck.
My man.
Anything construction
Does
stuff.
he like Fireman Sam?
He does like Fireman Sam.
There we go. And he likes the pups, the Marshall and Sky.
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol.
Does like Paw Patrol.
Okay. And so he would buy all that stuff. He would buy it all.
Yeah. I mean, he asked to look at my phone to shop on Target.
Sweet.
And I'm like, what 3-year-old is shopping at Target?
Every one of them.
He knows. So I'll sometimes you get desperate when you have twins. You need to entertain a kid. But I'll let him look at it for a little bit, like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But he's like, I need to make my Christmas list. And I'm like, okay.
This is awesome.
Let's focus on what Christmas is about.
Yes,
We
that's good.
But he
Excellent.
knows how to add it to a list so that I can come back later. I'm like, just because you add it to the list does not mean that you are getting it, just to clarify. So
I love talking
working
about
on
Logan.
that.
This is awesome. So he is the smiliest young man I've ever seen. He has a great smile. And because of that, he gets a lot of what he wants. You know, I'm sure he can woo mom and dad. But here's what I know. When he spends on a credit card, he doesn't understand cause and effect. Mm-hmm. He does not see that is currency truly trading hands from the credit card company to the merchant, Target in this case, or Amazon, who happily receives the money and ships an item to you. And then at some later date, mom and dad have to ship money from their accounts to the credit card company to reimburse what they paid for it on their behalf.
Yeah.
So what I would say is kids and credit cards do not mix well until they understand cause and effect. Now, cause and effect is understood at different ages by children. We find generally that connection starts to make somewhere around 8 and 9 years old is about the time they truly start seeing the effects of cause and effect and can understand that more clearly financially. Now, does that mean an 8 and a 9-year-old needs a credit card? No. But I do think that it is a good time for children to use the credit card with mom and dad. What does that mean? You're at Target, you've been shoving the buggy around, you got your brood there, you know, it was one of those days you had to take everybody, right? And you bought some groceries, and you bought a couple of other items because that housewares area just kind of vacuum you in. You stopped at the dollar plus area, whatever that is, that trap, that snare they set right as you walk in, right? And now you're going to pay. This is an excellent time to let your kid tap the card and then explain to them, 8, 9 years old, hey, now what just happened? The credit card company just sent money to Target. And a little bit later, mommy and daddy are going to send money to the credit card company so that we don't owe anybody anything. So you can start training them how this works. My son is 12. I let him pump the gas. Well, we pay for our gas with a credit card that we pay off every month. And so I let him tap or swipe it. And the reason this is important is that a lot of kids get no exposure to the credit card. They don't even see the credit card stuff happening, or there's no explanation of what is happening behind the scenes. And so it's important for them to understand how transactions take place.
Right.
Yes, we can go back and say paying with cash is hugely important, and we are huge advocates of that. What should we use cash for? Let's tell everybody.
So impulse purchases.
Impulse stuff.
Groceries. Clothing. Entertainment. Eating out.
At restaurants. And spending money.
Yeah.
Spending money and entertainment kind of blends together. So the food ones and all that stuff. We're huge advocates of that. Even if you're using a credit card or a debit card, you'll overspend on it, on those impulsive items. But gasoline, you're not going to impulsively buy. And if you want to put your groceries on the card and you use the list and you make sure you don't overspend, you know, about 70% of people carry no credit card balance. And so it's only about 30% of people who carry balance. So if you carry a balance, you may not want your kids to have a credit card at all right now. You may not want to have a credit card, okay? But one of the places that it starts to make sense, because what are we doing when we're raising kids? We're trying to equip them to become excellent, productive citizens within our society. What are we also doing? It's not stated out loud, but what we're also doing is we want to raise excellent, productive citizens of our community who eventually get off mom and dad's payroll.
Yeah.
Right? Is this true?
Yeah.
Like at some point in time, hallelujah, we want the kids off the payroll.
Yeah.
My 23-year-old daughter is off my payroll. Hallelujah. Right? It's a magical moment. And she has confidence. So the first time that I see parents, when they've done this process, starting at 8 or 9, of training their kids of what's happening, inviting them into these budget conversations, and they let them have a card when they get their driver's license. And they say, here is a credit card, and you are to use this only for gas or only for like school lunch or something like that.
Yeah. Or an emergency. Yeah.
Or some emergency.
Yeah.
And that allows the child to start to learn that. And what my daughter did at age 18 is she went straight to the bank. She had mentioned this, but I didn't know she was going that day. And she went to the bank and applied for her first credit card. And they approved her. I don't know what the balance was, the credit card limit was, but I think it was like $300. But I remember the bank tellers being so impressed of her money knowledge that they were asking her, could she come back in and train their kids on how to manage money? That was hilarious to me. And she has never paid a dime of interest on her credit card. She's 23. And I think a lot of that is because of exposure and education to it from parents who had gotten some war wounds from mismanaging them. And now were intentional from the time she was 9 or 10, training her up on how to use credit cards.
Yeah.
But the reason why the answer to the question is yes, but. Should kids have credit cards? Yes, but. What are the buts? But with training.
Yeah.
But with explanation. But with a budget.
Yeah.
Because absent of those items, kids might think it's magical plastic card. I just keep swiping it and stuff shows up. Right?
Which is magical.
It is magical.
Until somebody
When
has to pay the bill.
Right? And so I remember distinctly, there's a thing that happened when my daughter was just coming to age with a cell phone. And you may remember this growing up, that there came a thing called text messaging. And this was a way that cell phone companies made a pile of money because teenage kids, a lot of them would be teenage girls. I remember my niece would blow up the text messages having no idea that they were 10 cents a text.
Yeah.
And they would get in these individual group texts and all this stuff. And people were getting $300, $400, and $500 bills that they had no visibility to until a month later when they had these piles of text.
It's terrible.
And you know, what did that mean? Yeah, the telecom companies were getting these huge payments, but they also got irate users who were like, how dare you do this? Like you saw this happening, you didn't even inform the person paying the bill. So we do encourage you to expose them to it because credit cards can be wildly important. When you travel overseas, credit cards are essential. Credit cards are essential to transacting in that nation's currency and getting the best exchange rate. And it's essential to making sure that you can transact large purchases without having to carry large amounts of money with you for security. Credit cards can be excellent even compared to debit cards because if fraud happens, it comes out of the credit card account, not your personal bank account. So while you're wrestling through how that fraud happened, it's their money that they're out, not your money you're out. And so should kids have credit cards? The answer is yes, but. Anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about teaching your kids to use it like you're saying. And I mean, it can be a huge benefit for when they get to college. And I mean, I've heard your story a lot when you talk about you got to college and you signed up for all the credit cards and all this stuff. And what a difference this is. You're great now. But like Malia going to college is like totally different than, you know, Joe going to college because of the education and the finances that you guys instilled in her, which is amazing. And so I think a lot of times teaching kids how to do that, teaching them how to utilize it properly, teaching them, you know, the skills they need and so that when they get to that situation, they're able to say, like, I know what I'm doing. They're
Yeah.
able, like, the bankers are able to say, hey, come teach my kids. Like, that is amazing. But I think also, like, it helps to maybe fund a trip you want to go on. Like, you're talking about all the benefits of going overseas or trips or something like that. But maybe it's, you're able to get the miles to be able to do something, and maybe your kids can start working towards something. Or a lot of them have, like, rewards, that kind of stuff, where it's able to, hey, if you have wise spending and you're able to pay it off, and then, hey, here are some, like, rewards that you can get from,
Right.
like, using the credit card properly.
So a lot of times our parenting style is informed by what we felt like our parents did well and what we feel like our parents did not do well.
Yeah.
The gaps, and we're not saying it's the parents' fault. It's just a
No,
lot of
not
times
at all.
parents didn't even know.
Yeah.
So my parents didn't go to college. None of the older sons had went to college. So when I went to college, they had no idea I'd be inundated with credit card
Who knew?
requests and
Yeah.
applications, and that I had a credit card. You know, they didn't know any of that. And I certainly wasn't about to tell them. You know, it's like I knew what the answer was on them helping me out. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we all do. We carry forward to our generation that we have the privilege of raising up, is the things where we felt pain. We want to make sure our kids don't feel that pain.
Yeah.
And the things where we feel like our parents did really well, we want to carry that on too.
Yeah.
But then there's that area that we may be missing. We don't even know that we're missing it. And this is why it's so important to bring in other educational processes to help educate them. That's why we want to be a partner to you guys in the Money Tip podcast, talking about kids and money. And right now, relevant topics like, should they have credit cards? So if we're to summarize everything we said today as we close out, the answer is yes, but. Should kids have credit cards? Yes, but if you are teaching them how that actual transaction cycle works. And yes, but if you are allowing your kid to actually process the transactions in front of you while you're educating them. Yeah. Yes, but you invite your kids into the budgeting process so that they understand there is a date and time where mom and dad have to actually send that money back to the credit card company. And yes, but you give your kids a chance to use credit cards while they're still in the household, so that maybe they do accidentally use it impulsively. And you can have the rock'em sock'em moment to say, why did you do that? Why did you go out to eat at Pizza Hut and buy everybody pizza? What made you do that? Like, that's not your money. That was mom and dad's money, and that was not an approved purchase. Because I want my kids to fail with money, because they're going to make mistakes in the household. That helps them learn lessons in the safety net of the household, so that when they get to the real world, they are a wise, confident user of financial instruments, of which credit cards are an essential part of it.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we've learned and we've seen is, like, schools aren't going to teach your kids how to use a credit card. Like, there's a big gap in schools from financial education for your kid. And so it's like, you get to teach them that, and then they get to utilize it in the real world. But you also wrote a book that's geared mainly towards high school and college age students that kind of talks through a bunch of this stuff. So maybe you're thinking, I need to teach my kids this, and maybe you want to teach them a bunch of other money principles too, but you're not sure. Maybe you can get them that book. We'll link it in the show notes. It's called What Everyone Should Know About Money Before They Enter the Real World. Very long title, but great book. And so there's definitely lots of money principles to teach your kids, and we don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. So that book could be a great resource.
And we'll have a link to what everyone should know about money before they enter the real world in the show notes. Hey, we're so grateful that you joined us today. Next week, we're going to continue the You Ask For It series. And so we're going to be answering questions that have been sent in by you, the listeners, those that watch on YouTube, the watchers. And so we're super excited that you joined us today. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, one thing that you could do greatly help us is click the subscribe button, click the little bell if you want to be notified each and every Monday when a new episode is available. And also leave a comment. You know, what is it that you've done to intentionally train your kids about the use of credit cards? That was where we can have some common learning. And if you're listening to some podcast, can you rate it? Leave us a review. That helps the algorithm bring this podcast to other people who we know could benefit from it. And hey, if you have implemented one of our tips, our podcast is powered by your success. It's fueled up. And so we want to hear about your success stories. Take a moment, share your success story with us. Share it by emailing it at info@iwbnin.com, or you can just share it on any of our social media platforms. Hey, until next week, we want you to live a fully funded life. Any last words you want to share?
I hope you guys have a great week.
Yep, have a great week. Intentionally teach your kids. If your kids are younger, like Logan, pull out the phone, let them prepare a little wish list for Christmas. That'll be fun. And let's be thinking about it. How can you start educating them about money and eventually credit cards? If you do have some 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds, what are you doing right now? It's Christmas season, some transacting. Let them handle the load of transacting. Got a driver in the house? Hey, let's educate them. We want to have fully informed consumers as they go to the real world. Hey, we'll see you next Monday, everybody. Have a great week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.